get into the ruling APC now. They had the NWC meeting. Well, a lot of people were looking forward to that one. And afterwards, the national chairman of the party, Senator Abdullahi Adamu, said that they are embarking on persuasive means of reaching some level of consensus on the next leadership of the 10th National Assembly. He was speaking in Abuja after that meeting, where he explained that the party will consult widely, especially with the president-elect. We'll take a listen.
When we do the zoning meeting, and we don't just go alone as a party, the zoning is to take along the person who has the mandate of this country. President-elect, the Senator Ahmed Bola Tinubu, we have to take him along. He traveled after the elections, and he came back only last week. And we must carry him along. And we cannot stop those who are ambitious or zonal interests or even individual interests, institutional interests. We cannot deny them. And for as long as that is there, we have to find a way, persuasive manner of getting some level of consensus. And that's what we are working on. It's not a one-day affair.
By the way, Senator Adamu declined questions on the outcome of a meeting which lasted over 4 hours, but then he also said that the party remains united. So let's get deep into the political affairs of the ruling APC. Mr. Felix Morka is the National Publicity Secretary of the party. He joins us live from our Abuja studio. Good evening, and thank you for joining us on the program. Well, I hear, Barrister, that it was a very heated meeting of the NWC, especially with that lingering issue with the National Vice Chairman for Northwest, Malam Saliu Lukman, the case in court, him saying that he's trying to stop the party from heading towards anarchy. That wasn't talked about. So what exactly, how were you able to solve that issue, if it has been solved, that is?
Thank you so much for having me, Kayode. Yes, that issue has been put to rest. At yesterday's meeting, we did consider some of the issues raised by my dear friend and colleague, Lukman, Salihu Lukman. And we did, look into it, and a committee was put in place to further delve into the details of his concerns, which he has expressed publicly. At the end of that conversation, I think he realized that some of the issues that he has raised, even when they are very relevant and important, were not meant for the public space. These are housekeeping matters about the party that needed to be discussed by the party, by the organs of the party, and resolved. I think he came to that realization at the end of all of the deliberations and the back and forth that the better option was for him to follow our internal mechanisms and express himself, which he has every right and even duty to do, but to do so using our internal mechanisms rather than resort to public, the public fora, if you will, to canvass some of those concerns. So at the end of the meeting, we are good. We have resolved that. Lukman has offered to withdraw some of the case he has filed in court, and also to refrain from, further public engagements on this matter, because these are internal matters to the party. Some of the matters that he's raised, whether there is about, convening the NEC meeting or about, some of the activity reports he says should be presented to NEC. These are important things which the party will get up to and actually deliver on. Now, Kayode, let me remind us that this NWC was elected, back in March last year. And since the day of our inauguration, we have not had a moment of rest. We went from the convention to the build up to the primaries, to the actual primaries, and then the campaigns, and then the election. We have not had any time to do a lot of those other important things that we know we have a duty to do. And now that the elections are over, especially after the inauguration, be rest assured, and that's exactly, I think, where he came to the realization that internal engagement was preferred. It preferred
but Mr. Moka,
to dealing with this matter rather than escalating it needlessly.
Some of the points he raised, some would say they're really very germane points. One, he had called for the resignation of the national chairman to give way for Christian chair because, well, the president-elect, the vice president-elect are Muslims. He's also, that court case, essentially, part of it is for breach of party constitution regarding the national chairman, Senator Abdullahi, and the national secretary of the party. He's also talked about the finances of your party. So those are germane issues. And are you saying that your party would listen to those issues or not? I think that's a question Nigerians will want to ask.
Yes. Now, those are issues that were already and that have always been on the agenda of the party to deal with. These are routine administrative matters that the party has a duty to do as a party. We have a constitution and we have things that are mandated by the constitution. We have others that are merely administrative. But make no mistake, we are all about, delivering on all of those aspects of our commitment as a party. Now, the question of the relevance or validity of, some of those suggestions have never been in doubt. We haven't disagreed on whether or not we should do a NEC meeting. Of course, we should do a NEC meeting. But I think that, there are other issues that arise for consideration when you want to, call a NEC meeting. The leader of the party is Mr. President. Mr. President has to be available. His schedule, his availability is critical to that decision and the actual convening of NEC meetings. So there's so many things, and like I said, we have been very busy in the throes of elections or primaries before that, and now waiting on the inauguration. But I think that once the inauguration is done, some of these housekeeping matters, I am convinced and I believe, as we also deliberated yesterday, will be allotted their priority and given at the time of day to discussing them.
So are you saying there's a possibility that Senator Abdullahi Adamu may resign?
No. I have not said. Why would I say that? Look, yesterday, one of the issues that Senator Adamu Abdullahi, our national chairman, raised with the media who were present after the NWC meeting was the fact that on this question of zoning, we haven't done zoning yet because we deem it necessary to engage in extensive consultations with all of the key stakeholders, whether it's the president-elect and other leaders of the party, and for that matter, even the aspirants themselves to these National Assembly leadership positions. Now, I think that part of the reason this is important is that we're also very attentive to the sensibilities of the moment and ensuring that some of the important leadership positions are properly managed in a way that produces the best outcomes for the unity of this country. So those are the issues, on the table. The question of, our chairman resigning for whatever reason is not on the table. He is the national chairman of the party. And yesterday at the meeting, we all, concluded that the party was safe and strong under his leadership. So that's not on the table. It's not even a question. But we are prepared as a party to consult widely and ensure that in making decisions about where our leaders of the National Assembly, 10th Assembly, where they come from, that we actually pay attention to the need to ensure, as much inclusiveness as possible, so that every section of this country will find some representation, and ultimately will also agree that we have done well for the unity of this country. That, I think, is of importance to us.
A lot of people will cast their minds back to, the events that played out before the primaries and, build up to the party trying to select a candidate for this presidential election. And, with that, perceived support that the chairman had for another candidate aside the president-elect now, well, the perception is that they might not be able to work together because they'll look back and say, well, it didn't look like you wanted me in the first place, so we can't work together. So that's the belief a lot of people have, that well, he might have to give way, added to the fact that the national vice chairman had raised the issues about religion and all of that.
That belief, Kayode, is absolutely unrealistic, untenable, and completely not an apt thing to believe at this time. Politics is about that. Once the party's primaries are over, every loyal, responsible member of the party has a singular commitment to electing whoever it is that has emerged as the candidate of the party. Now, that is a normal thing. During the primaries, it's an internal system for selecting those who represent the party. You cannot have any sort of monolithic situation where everyone subscribes to the preference of one individual alone, especially when you have multiple people who are competing. What happened during our primaries was normal politics, but that is in the past. We have put that behind us. And because we succeeded, we won this election. It is because we put all of that behind us that we were able to actually build the kind of team and cohesion that enabled us to win. Now, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president-elect, was our candidate. And today, he is the president-elect awaiting inauguration on May 29th. So there's no question that this party, the All Progressives Congress, is solidly united with Senator Abdullahi Adamu as our national chairman and with President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the next president of the Federal Republic. We are united solidly behind that. And there's no crack, as people would like to speculate. We're good.
Well, an obvious one is the one I just mentioned with the national vice chairman. In fact, the legal advisor of the party had written some sort of open document, saying that maybe he should actually, disciplinary action should be taken on him. So, I mean, those are issues that are out there. But speak to this point, Barrister Moka, in selecting or at least choosing which way to go for the 10th Assembly leadership. Is the party or will the party be supreme or the president-elect's choice be supreme?
Well, I don't think it's about the supremacy of the party or the president-elect. The president-elect is a member of the party. Once he's inaugurated, he becomes the leader of the party. So we're talking about one holistic body, one cohesive body of the All Progressives Congress with all of the different sections of its leadership. The president-elect, we have a president, by the way, don't forget that, who is still in office and whose term comes to an end on the 29th of May. But all of these leaders, together with the party, form a holistic, platform, if you will, of leadership of the party. So every discussion, every decision that is to be made with respect to zoning, ensuring that the leadership of the assembly, at best, reflects the best potential to foster the unity of this country. Each one of these sections of our leadership, from the president to the president-elect to the National Working Committee, as led by our national chairman, we are all united behind this idea that we must do the best that we can for our country. And I think that once the inauguration comes and goes, I have no doubt that we are in for a very, I think, fantastic ride to really, I think, strengthening governance in our country and producing the benefits of democracy.
Barrister Felix Moka, the National Publicity Secretary of the All Progressives Congress, thank you so much for your time on the program this evening.
Thank you for having me.